My name's Tim Francis and we run a Taste of Paradise Organic Farm Limited, which is a children's or a young person's charity, and this is what the vegetable garden is all about, supporting and helping the young people to grow nutritional food. So we're getting the enterprise underway out here, and our next stage of course is planting our vegetables, and these are the first stage of our seedlings in here. There's a mixture of cucumbers and zucchini, and we'll have tomatoes are just starting to come up now, and there's quite a few watermelons and rock melons and those sorts of things that will be planted out in the areas alongside the vegetable garden. But it's all about providing opportunities for disadvantaged and at-risk young people and helping them to understand that they can grow great clean food themselves and at very little cost. And this is what we're, one of the opportunities that we're organising here on the farm, amongst many other things we do. This is just one of the enterprises, and having the wonderful greenhouse donated here has given us the option of doing so many more things than we could do previously, and this will enable us to grow all of our own vegetables, and they have to be certified organic here as an organic farm. We're certified with the Organic Growers of Australia, so it's very important that we go through the right steps and make sure that our certification remains current and that we're setting a good example for the young people that we work with too. So.
Rather inclement Sunday morning out at Taste of Paradise. What do you call it, Tim? Permaculture, organic permaculture farms. Bit of a mouthful, that one. And we've popped out here this morning. We're going to put the first sections of this community garden together. What I'll do in a minute, I'll just run you through what I've done set out wise. I'll just, if you can just zoom in on, this is that little sketch of all the cells we're going to be building eventually, and what we're going to put together today is this main entry cell there, cell number 1, cell number 2, and this one that's the first hub in the overall design. That will give Tim 2 working bays as of when we've completed work today, and that's where the weather permitting. Actually we've got a bit of a break now, so it's not too bad. So what I'll do is I'll jump over and I'll show you how I've set out. I've roughly, just while we're looking at the diagram, I've pulled a string from the centre of this cell right down the middle across to, I've put a peg out here, and that's going to be our set out line. Okay, so just quickly for the base set out, you can see this string line here that I was referring to before. So that's running down the centre of those hexagonal cells. What I've then done is I've marked this is the centre of that main hub cell. When you're setting out a hexagon, the radius is exactly the same as each side of the hexagon. So it's actually a very easy shape to set out. So just coming back to what we were talking about there, so this is the centre of the first hub cell. I've then measured out to the centre of the cell that's out on this side, and then from those marks I can then measure the same distance. So I measure that same distance to this peg, scribe a bit of an arc, and then come back to this peg and scribe another arc. This is what we call an equilateral triangle. Each side's the same length. So very easy set out for this. So I've just worked around same length, same length, same length, same length. So what we've done there is we've set out centre, 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 and the centre there, and all of those triangles are all equilateral triangles. Now on the plans we'll give you those distances, but it makes it very easy for the set out of these cells. So as we move through building this structure over the next couple of years, we'll just keep setting out centres for hexagons, and then use the same principle of the radius being the same as the length of the side to set out each individual cell. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to actually set out this working cell number 1 here, and just put a few marks on the ground so that when the guys get here in about 10-15 minutes, we've got something for them to start to do. Okay, so 2400 and then 2400 out in this direction. So I'm putting just another pin in there. And what I'll do is I'll just work around, I'll mark each of the sides of the hexagon, and then I'll put a straight line from side to side to side, and then we'll dig the trenches and put up the first bay. All right, so I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's the first hexagon all marked out on the ground. The boys are over there trenching. We're cheating a bit. We're using a laser level to get the bottom of our trench at about the right height. That way we don't have to play around too much with the height of the actual structure when it's finished. Okay, so it's time now, we're going to start throwing up some of the panels. What we've done just quickly is on our string line, we've marked centre of this panel and we've lined that up on the string. Then I've made a measuring stick that sits on the nail in the centre and is the correct distance out to the inner joint of where the panels meet. So we've got that set up so that that's right. So this panel's right now, so we're going to wire that off and then we're going to put the other panels up. Okay, so we've got the 6 panels up now in this particular bay. So this is a working bay. We've got 5 wall panels and 1 door panel that you're looking at me through. We actually dug all our trenches fairly level, which means we can just drop those panels in place. And so they'll sit there fairly level, and we've just tapped them up and down to make sure they're pretty right. What the guys are doing now, they're starting to run some wires across the top, ready to tension up, and what we're going to do is with those 3 wires going diagonally to the corners, we're going to just tension everything up and make sure all of the diagonals are about the same length. And really then, that'll be it. We're then just going to put some top wire clip to them, and that'll be it done. All over it. Really depressing to think that was 3 nights' work.
Now that's texture theory, Chris. Look at broke.
Okay, so now we've got all the panels up for these 4 bays we're doing today. The guys have just thrown some wires loosely across the top, and Ben and I are just running across and tensioning them. Like I explained way back in the beginning, there's really no structure in, or no kind of strength in this structure, and it relies on these wires across the top to hold it all together. So what Ben and I are doing now, we're just checking the diagonals, and we're going and making sure that they're all the same, and then to adjust the tension, if you have a look in the wire here, we've just been slipping a couple of bits of rod in the wire and then twisting against each other to form a twist and put some tension in that wire. So basically it's just a matter of keep adjusting until your 3 diagonals are pretty close to the same length.
Doesn't matter if you're wrecking, they're pretty well wrecking.
Okay, just a couple of things now as we're finishing off. You can see we've got those wires together. We've clipped them in the middle. Next thing we've done is we've popped the gate on the first of the bays here where the chickens are going to go in. we've made some little just pin hinges here, just with a piece of pipe and a pin. So they're nice and simple to make if you can weld. If not, you can buy a hinge like that. The disadvantage of buying them is that you need to buy then a whole lot of these female ones, because you don't need all the male ones. This gate is designed so it can just lift off and go to the next bay. When you do make them, make one pin longer than the other, so when you're putting the gate back on, you can line up one pin first and then the second one. That way you'll find it much easier. So we've put the gates on, we've put the female part of the hinge on all the other bays where the chickens are going to move to. Now you'll see the guys are just starting to put out the wire on the roof. I'll just jump in here. So you can see we've just rolled that wire out loosely. What we're doing is wherever it goes over the hardwood, we're going to put the screws in, just like we did on the wire on the wall panels. And where this centre wire is, we're going to pull that out and clip it to that centre wire. Now we're hoping that because this is quite light gauge, this is 50mm by 1mm chicken wire, so it's quite light, and it shouldn't have any problems just stretching sideways enough that we can get it to actually stretch that extra distance, because this roll's only 1830 wide. We need to go out to 2 metres, so we're just going to have a go and hopefully that'll work, because obviously it's much easier if we can just run in that nice parallel run rather than having to have joins everywhere. Okay, so that's it for the end of a very productive day. We've been here for probably, I got out here at about 7:30, set a few things out, and then the volunteers arrived, so it's now about 4:30. So pretty much a good day's work. We've got the 4 cells up that we were looking at getting done in this first stage. I'll just jump back a little bit. So to get here, we've had 3 night-time working bees. So we've probably averaged about 6 people per working bee, 6 maybe 8, and we've probably put in about 10 hours, I suppose, to date. So if you said there was, say, a good day's work for 6 people and then another day's work for 6 people to put it together, that's given us four cells. Now, just as I walk through, so this first cell, when the guys come back, they're going to put some rocks along the side, and that'll give this area here and this area here as permanent beds. So that'd be great for asparagus, strawberries, raspberries, anything that you don't want the chooks to be moving over every 6 months. So they're going to be permanent beds either side. Then we walk into this central one. I call these ones a hub because everything else radiates off them. But even here, you can create a little bed around here, little bed in each corner. Lovely spot for just again a blueberry bush or something like that. So you can even get production out of this central one. Normally you wouldn't have the chickens. Normally you wouldn't have the chickens in either of these cells. The chickens then go in these what I call working cells. So we've just popped the door off there, but that door will go on here, and then the chickens can go in here. Now, with the design we've put together here, which is based on a 2.4 metre side, and if you remember what I talked about before about equilateral triangles and all of that, and hexagons, so a 2.4 metre side gives a 4.8 metre diameter. So in cells this big, this would be enough space for a dozen chooks for that month that they're going to spend in here. So we've got a working cell here and another working cell over there, so that's 2 working cells they've got going, and then we're ready to, so that's working cell number 2, working cell number 3 will be here, and you can see now we only need another 4 panels, another 4 wall panels, and we've got a full working cell there. So you can really start to see how this arrangement can just grow and grow and grow. And you know, we'll be coming back over the next couple of years to ideally long term we're trying to aim to get about 18 working cells out of this system. So we're on a fair mission here, but look, we've got a fantastic group of people who volunteer their time for this. I mean, it's just, you know, I got the fuzzies now standing here. It's just awesome that people give up their time. You know, these out here where Tim's, you know, he struggles away helping all these young kids, and it's just fantastic to be part of it. And you know, and just the help we've had today, and everything's just great. And to see it all here, all finished. You know, well, this one's still got a bit of roof to go, roof over the top, and ready for now though the kids to come in and really get stuck into growing some produce here. I think it's just fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed the bit we've done today about putting everything together. You can really start to see now what you can do with this system. Remember, you know, it doesn't have to be this big. You can go bigger, smaller, whatever, and you can. This is a really modular setup, and it just, yeah, going community gardens, or even if you're really keen, you could have a big setup in your own yard or on your own property if you had enough space. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed what we did, and we'll be talking to you again really soon.